you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, wow. We got shouts out to the people running the stream in the background, Jason C. and Enrique Nino. We got some more live submissions that are coming through. That's crazy. All right, so we want to go to the next one, Citrus Sunday Fade.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's see. Boom, 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 boom. You stuck in my head, Emily? Stuck in my head. Good track. Whoa. Okay, I think I'm gonna like this already. I like the sound of it. All right, so Citrus Sunday, Fade, finished release, single for the album First Light. This song is about the loss of a person in your life. Deep. All right, Josh, you ready?
Ready.
Oh, this album art, is this a volcano? What's going on here?
It's cool.
Looks cool. All right, so it's Fade, right? Yeah. Yep, Fade. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Crunchy guitar.
Real crunchy.
Disappear
Oh, they're fading away.
I know.
I'll fade away. Ooh. Da, 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 da. Oh, that was dope.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, that was Fade. Excuse me, sorry. Fade by Citrus Sunday. I think it said Theory Dropouts on it though. Oh no, that's the next one. Sorry, that was Fade by Citrus Sunday. Dude, right away that gave me, like kind of reminded me of a couple bands. Have you heard of someone called The Pillows? They're actually
No.
a Japanese, like a J-rock band.
Huh.
Like that kind of crunchy guitar sound. I love that shit. And that
Interesting.
reminded me of that. The way that the vocals sounded, it was kind of like Foo Fighters reminiscent for me. The way that it was, the delay was on it.
I can see that.
I really dug that.
I got more of like a '90s like Stone Temple Pilots vibe or something, or
Ooh,
like one of
that's
those '90s sort of grunge rock bands or something.
For sure. Yeah, that kind of nailed it actually.
Although Foo Fighters come from that place in that era, anyways.
Yeah. And I mean, as you can see, we love that shit over here. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was sweet. Josh, do you have kind of vibes? You want to start it with the traffic lights here?
Yeah, I mean, you saw us both vibing along. It got better as it went on too. Like towards the end, it got more and more fun. And I think the fade out was executed well. Of course, there's a fade on a song called Fade, which makes sense, and I like that. Kind of a meta touch there, and yeah, overall, just I think you guys seem to have a really good energy and kind of know your sound pretty well, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I would give green to vibes for sure, absolutely. Do we want to let's go through each of them so we have
Let's
time.
do it.
Okay, cool. All right. So then content, I would say there were definitely some lyrical parts that I liked a lot. And I think the writing is good too. Like it's got a good song structure. It didn't really bore. It's like 4.5 minutes, but it didn't really bore me at any point, I wouldn't say. It's got a very driving groove. I like the chord progressions and everything, and the way it kind of dovetails that chord progression in the last chorus and everything. Then with production, the thing that I have to be totally honest here, because if we're going to be useful for feedback, then we have to be honest. The guitar is the part that needs the most work by far.
What?
Yes. So I mean that comes from me as a guitarist and a rock guy myself, but there were some timing issues throughout the whole song with that guitar, and there were a couple parts that come in and there's just like missing the beat by like a 16th note sometimes, which needs to be fixed.
I thought that was the drummer.
It was both. So I think it was the fact that I don't know if they recorded at the same time in the same room, or if they recorded the drums without a click track, or maybe even with a click track. But I think there was some slight time variation happening with the drums too throughout, which like it's fine to not use a click track if everybody can stay synced up. But if you can't stay synced up, you got to use a click, or you got to record enough times to where the timing is spot on. Or do the evil industry thing of actually correcting timing in the box.
Yeah, bro. Ableton Live, real good at that. Real good
right.
at that.
But the best thing to do is just to record in sections until everything is on the dot. But there was I heard some major timing issues with that guitar, and it might have also been partly because I think the guitar was a little bit forward in the mix, which like I liked it because it's like you want a lot of guitars and you want it to be in your face with this kind of thing. But just sort of the ratio of like that guitar to the bass and the drums could maybe be improved a little bit, just by a hair. So the timing with the guitar, and honestly, again, somebody who listens to a lot of rock and is a guitarist myself, I think that guitar tone is a little bit too sort of crunchy, like digital crunchy, but not like organic overdrive crunchy, if that makes sense. So there's a thing where like digital modeling amps have gotten pretty good today to where they can model even distortion with pretty good accuracy, and it sounds like natural and organic, and it kind of everything blends together very well. But historically, digital distortion has artifacts and has problems where it just sounds kind of hairy or sort of like discontinuous or something. And it's just, it might be because of bit rate and dynamic range and processing power and whatever, but I don't know if that's the case. This was a digital thing, or just that it was too loud or the way it was mixed or whatever. But I think the guitar tone was a little bit too hairy for my taste, if that makes sense. I would just compare to your reference tracks, like whoever you look up to that you want to try to sound like, compare your guitar tones, because I can tell you, like, a lot of that grunge stuff from the 90s or 2000s rock or whatever have very grungy, fuzzy, grainy guitar tones, but there might be some difference in the sort of overall sonic signature. So that's just something to consider. But that's my production notes. And I would give it a yellow on production because there's definitely some stuff that needs to be worked on there.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I didn't know where to put the timing issues. I didn't know if that was vibe because, like, it's funny because you gravitated to saying the guitar might have been off, and I was like, no, it's the drums. And the point is the pocket. They're not syncing. So
Right.
that's the main issue. And for me, like that held this song back from like really shining because I think a lot of the pieces are there for really really good song.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
like the way that it's written, it's arranged. I loved the bridges. I loved the chorus. I loved the verses. I loved all of it. I personally thought the guitars sound fine. I'm not a guitarist, but for me, like if I were to guess a reference track, and it's kind of obscure, like I was thinking, like I said, the Pillows, or maybe like Asian Kung Fu Generation. If you guys are into that, these are like J rock bands, but they have that really, Josh is saying, hairy, distorted kind of smashed sounding guitars, and I thought personally, like I like that. But yeah, for me, the biggest thing was the timing issues. So I kind of put that in vibe because it's kind of like pocket. I don't know if it belongs in vibe content or whatever, but yeah, I'll put it in vibe for this one. For me, it's a yellow because like it just really does hold it back. Like to really kind of jam, like I kind of have to like wonder which thing am I going with? Am I going with the drums and I going with the guitar? And for me, I went to the guitar and I thought that the kick was coming in really early on every beat or something. So yeah, that's the biggest comment. I think the vocals were really good. The performance was awesome. Like it got me singing along. Da, 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 na. Like you did that little slide, super cool. Made
Yeah.
me want to reproduce it right after you said it. So that was awesome. I thought the effects on the vocals were really awesome. I thought the guitar sounded really good. The drums. So for content, I think it's green, like all the way. I think it's a really well uh, written song. Um, for production, I'm going to kind of focus on the drums. So in the beginning, there was like a change in how the balance was going around. Like in the beginning, I had comments of, I can't really hear the snare like punch through or the kick. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe you can try to slap a compressor on that, make the transient come through and then bring out the rest of that uh, timbre of the after sound of the kick and the snare to really, let it poke through the mix a little bit better. But then at the end, it was like the snare was coming through really well, really punchy. So I don't know what kind of changes were happening there in the mix, but yeah, it
I mean,
evolved.
just on that point, I know people sometimes, like, it can be useful actually to do a lot of your mixing at the loudest parts of the song, and a lot of people do that, I think. But you just have to make sure that every point of the song sounds right. And the solution to that is automation. So I know it's not fun. I know it adds extra work, but every track that you hear on the radio ever has some form of automation.
Yep.
If something doesn't, if it sounds right at one point of the song, don't necessarily believe that it sounds right at every point, especially if you've got dynamic sections that are totally different from each other.
Yep.
Just go back and experiment with changing a knob around, and if it sounds better, just automate that change, gradually throughout the song, or starting at a certain section, stopping at a certain section, whatever. That can go a long way.
Yeah, isn't that kind of crazy that to automate it kind of means like in the DAW term, like you have to click in and do a manual change instead of having the compressor just work the same the whole time. It's
Yeah,
weird,
that's true.
but
There
yeah,
are some, there's some smart stuff out there now. Like a lot of iZotope stuff can do some crazy things automated. Waves has a vocal rider plugin where it'll actually automate like writing a level on a track. But yeah, do you have any more production notes? I agree with your drum comments.
No production. Nah, that was the only thing. Everything else I really enjoyed. I really enjoy the sound. I really enjoy the sound of you guys. Like I'm really getting into. I love anime intro type rock, J rock kind of stuff, and this really like tickles my fancy a little bit. So I think I would love to like see you guys play and just listen to the rest of your stuff because it's my style, and hopefully some of the pocket issues aren't propagated with the other songs. But yeah, like this was really enjoyable. My track total, I think it needs to be developed, so it's a yellow for me. But yeah, I really like the style. This is cool.
Yep. Yeah. Same for me. Just a couple of things to work on, but the energy is so there. Like especially towards the end, it just feels like, damn, I really want this to be, just perfected so that it's ready for a mass audience. Because like that's what people kind of expect. There's a lot of music out there, and they're only going to listen if yours is the best. Uh,
Hmm.
so I'm excited to hear more from these guys, and I would love to see them live at some point.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna follow them actually because I definitely 57 monthly. That's crazy. You guys are just starting out or something, but yeah.